And here we are again, checking out yet another Star Citizen ship. This one being the Anvil F7C-M. This is the, I want to say air superiority, but it's a spaceship, so it's their superiority fighter anyways. We do have a couple of minor graphical issues, like the landing gear isn't sitting where it's supposed to be. There's a panel up above that wing that just isn't in the right place. There's also one below the other wing that's just not in the right place. But other than that, you can see that it's got bulldogs and M4As. I think those are probably M3As in the nose. Yeah. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8 forward-facing guns if you include the ball turret, which, well, goes 360 degrees and 180 degrees in the vertical plane. So, and another curious thing is this thing that's behind the ball turret. All I can think of when I see that is mother-in-law seat, which generally not pleasant. So the canopy does have this nice mirrored finish to it that I remember commenting on the Aegis Reclaimer? No. Anyways, and once you get through the canopy, you can see that there are 2 seats in here, which makes this different from your standard starter ship. So, well, not like having the 8 forward-facing weapons, it doesn't make it different from the standard starting ship, but yeah. So if you wanted to, you could take a buddy along in this, and they could also be controlling a set of guns while you actually fly, or you could carry a passenger, or actually, you know, that mother-in-law seat area back there, that you could probably put a little bit of cargo in there. Throw a cargo net on it and have a happy day. So it is still a big ship when compared to, say, the M50, but really everything's a big ship as compared to the M50. If you compare it to a 300, like I've got in the background there, they're pretty similar sized. So although this is also a little bit longer than the standard F7. So, and also I believe this is the only one that actually does give you the ball turret. So you're sacrificing a bit of cargo space, but that's what the mother-in-law seat's for. At least that's what I'd like to think. So we're going to take a look inside the cockpit here. We've got, it generally looks like a pretty standard F7 cockpit. I don't think they've actually put this through all the fancy PBR and all that yet, but they will eventually. Yeah, and with the standard F7, we've got a big pile of very large scaffolding sitting right in front of you. I don't know why they do this. Like, yes, it does remind me of Wing Commander and Privateer and all that, but if you're going to build a spaceship and you're thinking that maybe it might see combat, you're going to build it so that you can see as much as possible, not putting very thick chunks of metal obstructing your view. But, well, maybe that's just me, but I definitely would not do that. So, we do have a stick, and it's in front of us, and we do have hands that are nowhere near the stick. You can see it right at the bottom of the video there. It also appears that my feet are inside the floor rather than on the rudder pedals. So, oops. I don't see a throttle over there. Then again, I might see. It might be there, but I don't think my hand's on it. Other than that, there is a rear seat that does also have a stick, but I can't get into it, so I'm just going to get out of this seat now. Wow, that canopy goes way too far forwards, and you can see where it connects to the rails goes straight through the... Ooh, not quite in line there. So yeah, when you're parked, your canopy overhangs the front of the ship, and I'm not too sure why they did that. I guess to make it easy to get out, but really the thing goes so far forward it should have no problems getting out. I do know the standard F7C does have missile racks kind of inside these intakes. I don't see any here, but that's not to say that they're not there. Here's a close-up of how the landing gear is not set in there properly. You can see the hole in the wing where it's supposed to be, and you can see that it's definitely behind that. This panel here that's out of place is probably the cover for that void where the landing gear actually sits, as well as over on this side we've got a panel above the wing is probably to fill that void. And again, this landing gear is aft a little bit further than it should be. But that's just one of those, they're going to take it in and take a look at it and fix up all those minor issues, and it shouldn't take that long. So in my F7C video, I took you under here and I said, yeah, look at these and look at this and look at that. And those right there are thrusters that aim right at the ball turret, and that's just silly. Well, as it turns out, I was wrong. It's those right there are a pivot for the thruster, which goes up and down, which is great, but I don't know how they get... Oh, well, that'll give you... not much, considering we've got two thrusters that are pointing at these, like your front thrusters are pointing directly at your rear thrusters. So that's kind of silly. And your rear thrusters are pointing almost directly at this intake. So, again, kind of silly. We do have countermeasures back here as well. Flare and chaff. And, you know, floating bits of hardware. Because floating bits of hardware are the best bits of hardware. Got a big engine. We got, yeah. Generally, though, it's a good time to pick up this ship because, well, you couldn't before, and now you actually can. And it's a $55 upgrade at this point. If you want to just straight out buy the ship, it is $165 in shop right now. Well, $165 US. I'm going to go inside the ship and pull out the third person view. So yeah, they haven't perfected it and made it all beautiful yet, but as it sits right now, as a work in progress that it is still pretty nice. I do find myself flying the F7C-A, the trainer, quite a bit because, well, it's got generally the most firepower for Arena Commander. And if I was allowed to take this into Arena Commander, that would make me that much more happy. Because it's got the 2 extra weapons mounted under the chin. Now they are probably forward fixed positions, but I'm not that bothered by it. Also, the option of having your second seat be a gunner and just controlling the ball turret, that's just awesome, right? Because he can look all around with the ball turret, and he can be shooting the things that are coming up behind you. Just saying. Of course, he wouldn't have a hope in taking out that 315 or the M50 behind, but if they're up and behind, you could always ask the pilot to pull back on the stick a little bit to give you a bit more firing arc, because of this very large tail section that I'm not really sure what it does. I mean, if they actually had thrusters on the end of the tail section, then I could see an excuse for the tail section. But as it sits, it seems like they're just there to somewhat balance out the front of it. I say put the thrusters at the extremities as much as possible, right? Get four-way thrusters on each of the extremities. So one top, one bottom, one left, one right. On the nose, the tail, and each of the wings. That's going to give you the most energy output for the least energy input. But again, who am I to say? So that is the F7C-M, the multi-crew version of the Anvil Hornet. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and feel free to leave me a comment. I do read all the comments. I'll leave and respond. See if we can get a conversation going. Anyways, have a good one, and this is Feck out.